next.
My question is that there are 3 white males who seem to be involved in the opposition to you, Ms. Jessamy. O'Malley cursed you out. The salary was raised for somebody else to come in and challenge you. So now we have Bernstein and Fieldfeld have been involved. I'm wondering, is this an effort for the white males who believe that they should be in charge? Is this an effort for them to take charge because they do not believe we as African origin can govern ourselves?
I believe the facts show that as a woman, as an African American, as a dedicated public servant in Baltimore City, that I can manage an office that gets results. 9% reduction in population, 59% decrease in violent crime, 60% commitments to the Department of Correction. Those numbers speak for themselves. The programs that we have instituted in the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office are tremendous programs that address the underlying causes of crime. And again, my opponent, he's now saying that he believes in prevention, he believes in intervention, and he believes in treatment, but he has publicly stated before that that's not a job that he thinks a prosecutor should be involved in. It's on the record. You need a state's attorney that is truthful, one that you can rely on to give you the facts as they are. Integrity means a lot.
I can say in response, it's clear that Ms. Jessamy has not been listening to what we've been saying consistently from the first day we announced our campaign. And I will say it again. I am a firm believer in things like intervention, prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, working with ex-offenders. I think that these are very important things, and I've said that consistently. And I have also said consistently that I will partner with those agencies that set up those kinds of programs. But what I will not do is take the resources of the state's attorney's office to try to develop those kinds of programs, something that we have seen happen in the state's attorney's office, which is the reason why I think that they have been unable to convict the most violent offenders, which again, the conviction rates have shown to be the case of less than 50%. And more importantly, I think there is a real problem in how the state's attorney's office treats these nonviolent offenders who get arrested for these so-called quality of life offenses, because the state's attorney's office, when these people are arrested, refuse to make any kind of bail recommendations or recog recommendations to the court commissioners. They just won't do it. And as a result, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of young people from our city arrested on small, non-violent, first-time offenses who are languishing in jail because the state's attorney's office refuses to make any kind of recommendation to release them, to get them into the kind of programs they need. That's what I will do as the state's attorney.
Let's get one more question in, and then we'll try to make sure we stay within the time to give you a closing statement. One more caller.
Good morning. My question is to Mr. Bernstein. We had criticizing Chief Jessamy for not prosecuting cases that had one witness. So my question is, do we believe that a person should be sent to prison for the rest of their lives with the testimony of one witness?
Has to be less than a minute and a half.
All right, here would be my answer to that question. Ms. Jessamy has consistently said that her office has a policy of not prosecuting one-witness cases. She was quoted in an article in the New York Times saying that was her policy. And 2 weeks ago, we had a debate in front of the Vanguard Police Union in which she spent a great deal of time explaining why she will not prosecute one-witness cases in the absence of corroboration of that witness's testimony. I believe that there are certain cases that require prosecution, even if based on the testimony of only one witness, because it is important that we send a message to the small percentage of people that are committing most of the violent offenses in the city and are intimidating witnesses, that we will not allow that conduct to continue. Now, can you do it in every case? No. But there are certain cases where you have to do it.
She only has 5 minutes, guys.
Again, Mr. Bernstein misrepresents the truth. We say one witness uncorroborated, but we review every case based on the evidence independently. So to say that this is a blanket policy is inaccurate. And the only thing that does is forces the police department to continue to investigate, to give prosecutors the information and the evidence they need to get a conviction in the case. Prosecutors are attempting, and the case that he cites in this one witness advertisement, the prosecutor was working very closely with the detective and the family, making recommendations consistently how to improve that case.
You will not be able to get your closing statements in. Mr. Bernstein, give the first. Closing statement.
Thank you, Larry. You know, one thing I would say in response to one of the callers who asked about whether there was, race was an issue in this case, I would like to read a quote again from Mayor Schmoke, who said, former Mayor Schmoke, now Dean Schmoke, who said on August 22nd, regardless of color, black people and white people want to be safe. The bottom line is that everyone wants the same thing from the criminal justice system: efficient prosecutions, fairness in arrests, and keeping the bad guys from innocent people. And I agree wholeheartedly with Dean Schmoke, and that is why I am running for state's attorney. This is what Baltimore deserves from a state's attorney: public safety, transparency, and accountability. And that's what Baltimore has not been getting for the last 15 years. I've made it clear on many occasions that my plan is to go after violent repeat offenders. I do not believe in locking everyone up. The city already tried that. It did not work. It bred mistrust, and it was simply wrong. I support programs for nonviolent first-time offenders so that these individuals can get the help they may need and avoid the stigma of criminal conviction that closes the door to educational and employment opportunities. Ironically, Ms. Jessamy touts the record number of Baltimoreans in prison as a measure of her success, since she is unable and unwilling to rely on conviction rates, which is the true measure of a prosecutor's performance. The fact that a greater percentage of our citizens are in prison is merely a reflection of the fact that a greater percentage of crime is committed in Baltimore, and the nationwide drop in the incidence of crime is the result of a host of factors unrelated to the operation of a single prosecutor's office in one city. The sad fact is that Baltimore has a larger percentage of people in prison than any other city in the nation.
That has to be your last point here.
This is nothing to be proud of, and it hasn't made Baltimore any less dangerous. It's time for a change. It's time for a fresh look, a fresh approach, a fresh start.
Thank you very much. Kurt Schmoke supports me because he knows the facts. At a time of fiscal challenge, the state's attorney's office needs a seasoned manager and a sharp legal mind. We have 36 current vacancies, and we're operating under a furlough plan, but the hardworking men and women of this office continue to do an outstanding job of getting convictions, providing caring and compassionate service to crime victims. My opponent has spent very little time in the circuit court. He has only 4 years of his practice, which has been devoted to prosecution. He's been a criminal defense attorney for most of his time. Tough times cause sometimes a spike in crime, but now is not the time for on-the-job training. In turbulent times, you don't put someone at the helm who has never piloted a ship. You need a proven, seasoned pilot who is tough and smart. You need someone who has a track record for positive change and action, not someone offering rhetoric and no substance. You need an individual who knows the community, not someone who is now just learning the community. You need a leader, not someone who goes along to get along. That tough, smart leader is Patricia Jessamy. Thank you.
I want to thank you both for keeping your word to be with us on WOLB 1010. Also, let me thank our very fine engineering office, our promotion folks, our general manager, our operations manager, the producer, as well as those in the audience who were so kind and polite throughout the whole process. We wish you